Hey there, YouTube. Welcome back to Making the Amp, episode 3 or 4. I forget. So this is the amp chassis. I didn't realize that some of the stuff that I had installed in the back interferes with where it bolts up. There's a board that runs in the back that there's 3 chassis mount screws, so I had to hack some of that out of there and then drill some more holes for standoffs. Here's the switch for the crossover. You're going to be able to run this just directly with the amplifier, with the power amp running right to the speaker, or through a tweeter, or through a crossover, which will split off and go to the built-in speaker, and then there's another speaker jack in the back where you'll plug in an external tweeter. And if you don't know why that would be desirable, well, it's for running an amp modeler because it isn't 1993. So here's the power input, here's the speaker input. There's a power pack that I installed in the base of the amp. Runs off of 18650, which is a type of lithium-ion rechargeable battery. These were not edited, I guess, so bear with me. There you can see that chunk that I cut out. Now, I did use some black paint and touch up those areas, but I didn't look at it from this angle. So here we have the input jack, shielded cabling. This is a JFET buffer. This is the preamp that doesn't have any of the potentiometers or switching wired up to it yet. This is a voltage regulator which drops 24 volts down to 9 because 9 volts powers the preamp circuit, which is called a runoff groove tone mender, and also the buffer. The 24 volts will power the power amp. And here's the crossover. Here's the external speaker jack. So you could plug this into whatever speaker you want because the speaker is plugged into a jack. And then this is for the tweeter. This is that switching for the crossover, which is not hooked up yet. I did a fair amount of wiring today. Power jack, power switch is authentic from the original crate amp. Here's the fuse. Here's a close-up of the runoff groove tone mender circuit. So these are grounds here. This is the 9 volt input. This is the output. These are for the level pot. And then this stuff is for the bass, mid-range, treble, and mid-switch. This here, there's one standoff. I kind of, like this piece, it only had one hole in it. And I could have extended this and then drilled another hole and then cut all around the traces underside of it and then use another standoff. Instead, I just ran a nut and bolt pair and then put a piece of electrical tape over it with a hole in it that I burned with my soldering iron in case, so this doesn't ground out. You know what I'm saying? And then this is heat shrink tubing that's over that bolt that just kind of keeps it in place, keeps it from moving right or left. And then we have some hot glue holding the buffer down, and there's double-sided super glue brand, double-sided tape adhesive pad holding this piece of cardboard that is temping in this. I like that, so if there's a problem, you can just rip it right out of there. Here is the voltage regulator, dropping down the 24 volts to the 9 volts, a little bit clearer picture. This is an LM2596 voltage regulator. Those are the ones I recommend. They have some different ones like the XH415 or whatever it is. Really don't like that one. Any of the smaller ones, this is the one you want to get. Unless you want to pay $1 for the thing and just watch it smoke out when you hook it up to power. Because believe me, I've seen that. Trust me, there's a reason I like these. And this, there isn't a lot of room in here. This is screwed in. I put some super glue on here, and then I needed to loosen up the amp board, and I was like, I'm gonna. But yeah, my wife suggested use some acetone on a Q-tip and let that pour in there and weaken the glue, and then lift it up, and that worked really well to get at it. So we removed the trimmer pot. I like to snip two of them off and then remove the third that has the potentiometer connected to it, and then use a needle nose pliers. Ask my wife to pull each one of these extra 2 pins out, and then we'll solder our own pins in there and attach these wires to it, and then it'll attach to a 10K potentiometer, which will go in this hole and serve as the master volume for the amp. So the power comes in and out of the jack, it goes to this fuse, comes out of the fuse, goes to this switch, comes out of the switch and splits into 3 cables. One, this red hefty cable going into the power amplifier. And all where these cables are soldered onto the bottom of the board, I use hot glue over all of that as an insulate and to just keep the wires from moving around, you know. But yeah, there's 3 wires coming off. There's one going to the power amp. This orange one goes to the V-Reg, and the yellow one is going to go to an LED. So I will cut this wire and cut in a resistor that'll pad down the 24 volts to run the LED, and I have no idea what value resistor I'm going to have to do. I'm guessing I'll start with like a 22K or something, and I could look it up, but I'll probably just play around. I've got enough LEDs. If I blow them, it's not going to be the end of the world. So just some different angles. Here's the power. It's facing down on the bottom, and the speaker jack is too, because the battery pack is located down there. I'm reusing the original switch. The crossover came out of a high-end bookshelf speaker that both the tweeter and the woofer were blown on, that I got from Goodwill. So yeah, more blurry, overexposed pictures. I didn't edit these. I actually. So this is a low board that I cut and jammed in there and screwed in with some drywall screws, and then basically it's 6 batteries and 6 batteries, and then these are connected. The positive from the one pack goes over here, and then the negative from this pack goes over there, or whatever it is. So it's 2 times 24 volts is what it is. And then there's a cable here that runs up that'll plug in and power the unit. And, you know, I could put a couple fuses, like put 1 fuse in here and put 1 fuse in here. Maybe I will. I doubt it. It really won't be blowing too many fuses, I don't think. So, yeah, I did repaint this in here. Looks a little better than it did. And I put some blue on the end of the speaker, like I had mentioned. But this project is coming along good. I got a lot done today. That's basically the bulk of it. I do have some LED holders that I'm waiting on and some knobs. But I'll be wrapping this one up, and it was a fun project. I spent a good day on it today. Hopefully get this knocked out and finished pretty quickly, so I can move on and finish up the incredibly ridiculous, or the, what is it called? The ridiculously silly, incredible spring thing, which is the one that I really want to finish. So you guys, thank you so much for tuning in to making the amp. Again, I am not a pro tech or an expert. I'm a goof, I'm a hack, I use plumber's flux. This isn't a tube tone machine. If you're looking for tube tone, you're in the wrong place, but we do offer good tone and good original music. If you're looking for cover tunes, if you're looking for people who know it all, who know everything, they've played every single pedal, and they'll tell you what the best pedal in the world is the one that's on their board right now. Plenty of other channels you can go to where people are playing covers and not making any instrumental music. I'm sorry, that's not what I do here. So if that's what you're looking for, you might be in the wrong place. Try to stay warm, hug your pets, and peace.